0143. Mm-mm-mm. Nothing like a beautiful cigar. All right, on to more business. Hey, this is Dog Waters. Who am I speaking to, and how can I help you? Hello,
Hey, is that me?
that's you, love. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm fine. My name is Bird. I use my nickname because my husband doesn't like me putting my information out there on the web. But I got something I want to say. I hope you don't stop talking about it. I do feel that it. I don't know if the Dogman thing is becoming oversaturated. I do know for the 20 years that we've been living here in our home that we're dealing with something. And I'm just now starting to hear about Dogman. I watched Carrie Arnold's show. I watched Steve Isdall. And the other night, there's a black lady. I can't remember her name.
You talk about Bettina Moss, my girl Bettina.
Yes, yes. And I saw part of a show where you two were talking. And because I work, so I don't always get to listen to all the shows. But I think it may be oversaturated for the diehards. But you got a lot of new people who are dealing with stuff and are ashamed. Not ashamed, don't want to say ashamed, but being in the South, being in the church, being a minister, there's just certain things like, you just don't talk about.
Right?
And, you pretend like, okay, didn't you just hear that? Did you just not see that? And so when I don't know about the Dogman thing, but listening to the people talk about Bigfoots and so many of the things that we've gone through it. I've gone through it because I don't know if I'm an empath or what. I don't want to get off on that. Can I give you an example, Mr.
Absolutely.
Ward?
That's what we're here for. Tell me, what you got?
About 2 months ago, one of the pine trees fell down, and I picked up this stick that would have been great for walking. And so I just moved the big branch out of the road because our land, the way it is, we provide an easement to the people who live behind us. And I just laid it up against, how you lean a stick up against a tree. It disappeared. Well, coming out of my driveway, it's now a part of something, this formation. And I'm like, who did that? Who moved it? Who moved it from the front of our property to the side of our property? And it forms like an A formation with a vine going across. Just stuff like that. And I keep telling my husband, I said, hey, people don't just come down here. This is the country. People don't come on your property like that.
Well, what kind of
And
formation did it make, though? What did it look like?
it looks like an A. Does that make sense? Like a pyramid.
Oh, wow.
There's one stick. Please don't tell me that means something.
No, no, no. It's okay. Keep talking. I'm just saying that's something intelligent that did it. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you when we first came to look at the land, to buy the land, it was this old land that had been divided off. It was probably part of a big farm. And you know how the barbed wire be at the top? And you know how tight the barbed wire braid is? There was a feather stuck down in there where only a person could do that. And I took that feather out, and I feel like I shouldn't have done that because it's just so many things. It's over the years. It's so many things. I don't know.
So has there been
I've
any
never even,
anything aggressive happen, like, or is it just odd little odd things like things moving?
only one time that I can feel that something aggressive happened. It was when my son, he's getting divorced, moved back here with his dogs. And the first night that they was here, something started at down at the bottom part of our land. It's two creeks that meet and form a pond. Something started down there, and every 10 yards, it was like it was running this way, and it would hit a tree or something, and it would hit, and right when you look for it to just burst through the tree line, it didn't. And that whole night, the dog slept in the bed with me, and the window was up, and he just sat up almost every few minutes and would look out the window and just kind of raise. He was in the bed, but would raise his nose.
Hmm. And so all the activity started after you took the feather, or was it activity before you took the feather?
Yeah, I feel like I just, in my opinion, if I just went back, the feather was before we built our house or anything. That was when we walked the land the first time. And we were just young, just glad to be able to buy some land at a decent price. And I just wondered, should I have removed that feather?
Um, I'll tell you, there's two lines of thought on that. So, one line of thought is that it was a gift or something that was put in there, or it could have been a boundary marker, or it could have been anything, and that you by taking it, you was
Mm.
accepting something, and you were maybe coming into agreement with something that you shouldn't have came into agreement with, or um, yeah, that, and then so there's the concept of putting that feather back where you got it from and seeing if that changes things. But then the other thing
That
would
was
be,
over 20 something years ago.
I know.
It's 25 years.
The other thing that
Mm.
you need to understand is that sounds like Bigfoot more than Dogman. Honestly, it does. Has it come up to the house
Yeah.
and hit the house, or did anything to the house, or
Yeah.
is it? So
Yeah.
it's
I think it's the juveniles. Sometimes during the storms or stuff, it's like it make you want to think it's a tree or something, or something hitting the roof. But I think it's the juveniles. I do.
have you guys
Yeah.
prayed over your land?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I plead the blood of Jesus over it daily, daily. And I think that's what's kept us safe. I do. I do. But I've also, there's so much, there's so many things, so many things. But anyway, yeah. So I'm glad to hear you say that it's probably the Sabes versus the others, because I haven't heard anybody yet say what the others are. And it always seems like they're evil. I've seen something with the bright. For years, we went through a period for years where I told my husband, I said, why is the military down there watching us? Why are they looking at me? What is it? What is it? And then I told him about the night that I walked out, and I said, they had on some of their special spy glasses. I said, I saw red. They were red, and it was like little lights, not knowing anything about Sasquatch and all of that. And for years, I thought I was just paranoid. For years. I don't feel paranoid anymore, though. I know they're watching. They're there. And they let you know when they're there. And I think the only reason why I ask about the dog man, because like right now I'm out on my back porch, there's times when you will smell like you're in a closet with 1,000 dogs. That's how thick the smell of wet dog is. Man, Can't believe I'm telling somebody this. Hmm.
Well, let me put you at ease on something. So I'll walk you through a couple things. So, all right, when you start talking about dogman and dogman activity, the inherent
Hmm.
nature and the way they behave is they're not really a passive being at all. So the
No.
way I can tell you the difference between the two is Dogman makes itself known unequivocally. You know it's him. It shows itself to you, and it doesn't show like it's not
Mm.
going to do like a Bigfoot where it just shows some eye shine. If you've been there
Hmm.
20 years, it's going to show itself to you over 20 years because it wants to make sure you understand that it's dominant. It's the alpha in the situation. So
Mm.
you would have seen it. Your husband would have seen it. Have you seen anything that would lead you to believe that it's dog man? Something sharp, pointy ears. It could be black. It could be gray. It could be red. It could be standing on two
No.
legs like a man. It could be hock legs like a dog.
Mm-mm.
If you haven't seen that,
No.
then nine
Only
times out
thing
of
I've
ten.
seen. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go
Only
ahead.
thing I've seen is the predator thing, sitting on the limb 3 days in a row, and I
Like
think
transparent.
yeah, the shimmer, everything, a body shape sitting upon a limb, looking at toward the porch, and I'm looking back at it like, hmm. So that's where they got that idea from in the movie. When I tell you 20 years of stuff, no joke. Hey, so when people be writing in and calling in saying this stuff, they ain't lying. It's just for people like me, when you're a black female in the South, raised in the church, and you got working in a degree profession, there's just certain things you don't say. You don't say. You can talk about it with the people here in their house, but you don't dare talk about it outside.
One more question for you. So you guys built the house on this land. There was no house there before. It was just vacant land.
Yes, yes.
And was it cleared land or was it just were there trees? Did you guys have to clear the
All
land?
trees. We had to clear the land. We
So
had to clear
you
the land.
so you got you a land dispute on your hands is what you got. That's what you got. You
And you
got you
can,
a cryptid land dispute.
when you step out of our door and look, you can't see past the trees. Go 10 yards past the trees, it looks like you're in a fairyland. I mean, there's these arches, just arches. No broken limbs, none of that stuff. All that stuff is right here at our wood edge when you stand in our yard. But when you go past that, my son walked down through there and he filmed it for me one time, and I was amazed. It looks like a beautiful fairyland. Yeah. And I
But
think they do things that make us so that we know the boundary that, yeah, you own it, but don't come down here on this part.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense and that makes a lot of sense. Any messing with the doors, anything messing with like door handles, windows, anything like that?
No, no, thank you, Jesus, no.
Okay. So basically, you guys are literally in a land dispute, a 20-year land dispute with them. Um,
Mm.
earlier you were saying you plead the blood of Jesus over the land. Do you petition for
Hmm.
a hedge of protection?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
hedge of sand, I do all the time.
what do you
And
petition to be at the edges of your hedge? Are you petitioning for angels, shield angels, warring angels? What are you petitioning for?
I haven't known to petition for anything but for God and His guardian, His archangels to protect us.
Okay. I'll share
But
with
not
you.
just,
Go ahead. I'm listening.
okay,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, 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 no. I called you for information, so you go ahead. I don't need to shut up.
I'll share with you what I know for a fact works. Um, so there's two ways people deal with this. Some people deal with it from They deal with it from an all natural perspective, where they're like, I'm gonna go out into the woods, I'm gonna get my gun, I'm gonna shoot, I'm gonna run them off that way. And then
Mm-mm.
there's repercussions for that. But then,
Mhm.
if you understand that these beings really do understand the simple fact that they have their territory and you have your territory and it's a carve out means they understand
Mhm.
boundaries because there's a spiritual aspect to them. But you,
Mhm.
as a child of God, have dominion. So you just need to
Mhm.
exercise your dominion and continue to exercise your dominion. So if I was in your situation, now I ain't running up in the
Oh.
woods messing with them, trying to punk them and be like, y'all gonna get up out of here.
Mm-mm. No, 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 no,
But what I
no,
would do
no.
is when I pray, I would specifically pray for the hedge of protection and line out the boundaries where I want my hedge. And then from there, I
Yeah.
would ask that God place shield angels on the hedge to shield them from coming. And then if they do decide to get
Mm.
feisty, I would petition for warring angels to be there to deal with them. They do understand
Mm.
dominion, they do understand boundaries. And that's why you'll see.
And
Go ahead.
they do understand Jesus.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
you have to when you say it. I do know that for a fact.
Hmm.
Go ahead. Go ahead. But you
So
said the war angels, boundary angels, war angels,
shield angels, warring angels,
shield angels.
that and ask that they patrol those boundaries, and that
Mhm.
way, it's a spiritual thing because it's going to send them that message. No, 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 hold on. This lady's literally um, carting off and partitioning off her property from us coming there and coming on the property. And that should start the process of taking care of it, and it should start moving them back.
Mhm.
And if you want, you just keep on praying and petitioning for the hedge to keep moving further and further and further and further out, and you will
Mhm.
see. I promise you, you will see a difference. What most people don't understand with this cryptid world and the cryptid, because nobody wants to talk about the actual spiritual
Mm-mm.
aspect of it. Everybody wants to talk about the physical
Mm-mm.
aspect. They don't really have a functioning solution. But behind the scenes, I dealt with so many people on this where they're like, "Well, DW, I did the prayer you talked about, and man, it was like all the activity stopped." I've had it here at where I live. Right, just give you a small
Mhm.
example. We deal with down here. We've been petitioning for the police chief in the city of New Orleans to deal with the spirit of lawlessness that he allowed to take over the
Mm.
city of New Orleans. Right, this is why you see all this
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Right, when we
Oh yeah.
started praying against that, I had crows, hundreds of crows,
Mm.
literally starts
Mm.
flying and circling around and landing on the gates outside to the point to where it was the neighbors were saying, "Yo, what is going on? This is crazy. These birds don't behave this way." And so I started praying for a hedge, and I started off saying, "Lord, give me a hedge just that surrounds the building." Then I said, "Push that hedge, please push that hedge back 100 yards. Please push that hedge back 50 more yards."
Mm.
And my neighbors just the other day said,
Mm.
I'm sitting out there smoking a cigar, and the girl says, "Hey, Mr. James, what happened to all the crows? It's like they won't come near this building. They'll sit on every building, but they
Mm.
won't be on this building." And I said, "That's what happens when you pray." And she was just looking at me like she was confused, like, "What the hell?" But it's a hedge that works, and it works against physical flesh and blood beings because everything is part physical, part spirit, and so it
Mhm.
works. It works. And if um, if you were telling me, hey, it was if you were telling me, hey, they were beating on the windows and pulling on the doors and all the rest of this, then I would say, okay, there's something
Mm.
physical that you really, really, really got to worry about. But it doesn't seem like they're physically trying to harm you. It may just be
Mm-mm.
juveniles. You know what I'm saying? But it's still terrifying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially when you going to the point where, right on one day, my husband had to drive my car, and I got one of the, the ones with the camera, where you see, and he goes, "Okay, I get it now. I saw the eyes." I said, "Because they're not used to my car leaving at that time of the morning." So he leaves about 4 o'clock in the morning, and he goes, "Okay, I saw him. I saw him." I go, "I've been telling you. I've been trying to tell you." And he's so quick to just brush everything off. And I'm like, "No, baby, I'm telling you, I'm not seeing things, I'm not hearing things, I'm not making up things."
Well, the truth of the
Faith.
matter is, he needs to be the one that does all this
Mm.
praying because,
Mm.
the way God set up the family, Christ is the head of the
I
family, then the
know,
husband's
I
the head of
know.
the wife's the head of the children. So I'd be more than happy to talk to him
Mm,
and
no,
walk him
no.
through it.
I, let me talk to him because he's not gonna believe I talked to somebody about this. And I will email you back or send a message somehow through your site.
Hmm. I,
Uh, uh, you,
I'll be
you
more
you
than
have my
happy.
number there.
Yeah, I have your number. I'll be more when I tell you I'll be more than happy to spend
Yeah.
an hour with him, walking him through
Mhm.
everything that he needs to understand. Because if he's not
Mhm.
walking in his full authority, then
Mhm.
he gives a certain amount of dominion to them, and so he needs to walk in his
Yeah.
full authority in Christ. And when I tell
Mhm.
you he will shut it down, like your prayers will slow it down and shut it down, but when he walks in his full authority, oh, that's a wrap. That is a wrap. It's over, done.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to me. Whew, I'm trying not to cry, but thank you so much.
No, you're more than welcome,
And don't
sister.
and when you know, don't be so quick to walk away from your calling, okay? Because people
Absolutely.
don't realize there's a spiritual war out there, and there's a lot of people, I believe, like me, who, especially African Americans, who don't want to say anything. I know we can't be the only ones going through this. I just know that. So, thank you so much.
No, thank you, and I'm gonna you touch my heart. Now I'm gonna give you my word. I'll be here.
All right, and I'll be in touch.
Okay, love.
You have a blessed night.
You too. God bless you.
Bye bye.